Commodores, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for evening colors.
Please stand for the evening colors ceremony at Balboa Yacht Club. Gentlemen, please remove your caps.
As you were. Commodores, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2023 Balboa Yacht Club Commodore, Paul Loubet.
All right, thank you. Great turnout. You know, this is such a special event, and we've got so many special people that have contributed. And I can't name them all now. Don't have time. I was told to make this brief. But the main thing I want to get across is it takes a village. We've got a great village here. We've got great people that have contributed. We've got people that just love this event every year, and we want to keep this tradition going, make it better, support the sailors and the event to the best way we can. A lot of what I've talked about in some of the past events has been about making memories. And there are so many people that have so many fond memories of the GovCup. How many people here have sailed in the GovCup? Raise your hand. Brad Wheeler, did you raise your hand? There you are. So what I want to do is make more memories, have all of you have a fantastic week, make some good memories, have some fun, and share your memories with your friends. And with that, have a great week. And Christine, your turn. Was that brief enough?
Welcome to the 56th Governor's Cup. This is one of the largest attended Governor's Cup dinners in history. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors who donated to the regatta and our volunteers for their tireless efforts to ensure that this wonderful regatta runs smoothly and is enjoyable for everyone. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the highlight of our evening has arrived. There he is. I would like to introduce you to BYC's own Andy Rose. He has been an America's Cup tactician, two-time Congressional Cup winner, in that same position, a Transpac and Sydney Hobart race winner, and two-time winner of the Governor's Cup. My friend and the Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Andy Rose.
Paul.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let me, just everybody look at your programs for a minute to the inner pages, the crew pictures. Well, this is the leadership of the Governor's Cup. Doesn't it look sort of stupid? Yeah. All right. Get out of here. Did I help? Yeah, I'm done. Well, thank you. But, you know, that trend started, I don't know who started that trend. It was the America's Cup or GP50s, but I think it was the Kiwis. It seems like something the Kiwis would start. But just, you know, we've never had a year. We've had a few people who, you know, insist on looking like professional sailors and extremely serious like that. But everyone this year, come on, show a little individualism or something. All right. Well, welcome. I've been a little nervous about tonight because there are so many new people that I don't have any stories on. So we're going to let the crews talk a little more tonight and see if they have some stories about their skippers. Without further ado, first, welcome. Second, what I say every year, those of you competitors, you may think the program is, oh, who cares? Keep it, give it to your mothers or fathers, and 20 years you'll be fascinated to look back at how geeky you were, you know, at this age. But more importantly, you will also have sailed and still know many or most of the sailors here. The Governor's Cup has a wonderful tradition, and some of my friends, some of my best friends in life and in sport, I actually met here. So many years ago. So keep the programs. Give it to somebody responsible other than you guys. Okay, first we have two of the Aussies. This year we have three Aussie teams and three American teams. First, Cole Tapper and Marcello Torre. See if that's on. Are these on?
On two, Pulse.
Hello? Yep, they are. There you are. Get over here and stand next to the
Oh, hey.
All right. So Cole, this is Cole's second year in the Governor's Cup. Last year he had a security blanket, his older brother, but Finn has now gone on to become aged and no longer qualifies. Cole, first introduce your crew.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. On my left, I have Jack Fruin. He is our main trimmer, Kai trimmer. And then out here, we have our bow, Hamish Bass.
So, the sailors do take this event very seriously, and they practice and they watch our coverage from past years and get tendencies and stuff. Cole was fortunate enough to have a regatta just before this as a tune-up. And I believe there were something like 12 or 13 boats. Cole, how'd that go?
Yeah, look, it wasn't our best performance. This is a new crew combination for Govs, and we thought...
throw them under the bus. Perfect.
No. We thought one regatta before we left would be a good little tune-up. And, to get into the team spirit, we thought we'd go out for bonding the night before the regatta. And we got a little bit carried away and showed up, and things just sort of spiraled from there, if I'm being honest.
Well, I guess the difference between us is back in the day, Argyle Campbell steered and Tom Purcell and I sailed with Argyle, and I was tactician, and Argyle and I always felt that we were so nervous before races, we felt like we were hungover, so we might as well be hungover. But we, of course, won 2 of them. So Marcello, we did, some of you have seen, thanks to the graciousness of Tom Eamon, we've been doing the Road to the GovCup shows now for 2 years, where we interview on camera the various skippers, and then do like 15-minute segments on Tom's Sailing Illustrated show on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. And there are replays; you can access it at any time. But at any rate, we did something new. We had all the Aussie skippers on at the same time, which was great. And so Josh Hyde was there and Cole was there. And then Marcelo was having a little trouble. Tom, when you'll see the productions that we do, is a perfectionist. And he wants to get the lighting and the headspace right and the whole thing. And it was a bit of a problem with Marcello. And we said, well, Marcello, and he had the bottom thing all set up with, Perth, Western Australia. And Marcello said, oh, no, I'm in Bali. Well, we believe that he was actually secretly practicing with the Indonesian match racing team. But at any rate, that you went out and sailed a regatta and got pounded, and he went to Bali before the race. Next time I'd recommend his thing. Marcello, introduce your crew.
Yeah, hi, thanks for having me. And hi, Andy. This is, Adam BV on main and kite, and Rafa, my brother, on the front of the boat this week.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back. I have a soft spot for Australia. As many of you know, I was coerced and forced to sail for Australia in the America's Cup, and it was the best experience of my life. But both, I've done a couple of Hobarts and managed to win first finish and one overall one year. And the CYCA, if you haven't been to Sydney and gone to the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia, you're missing something. It's a terrific place. And CYCA is one of the oldest competitors in the Governor's Cup for the international teams, and have done very well. As I think I said in the program, Australia has 8 wins since we've been international. New Zealand has 9. So, Cole, it's your job to even that up this year. Or Josh, it's a little bit unfair because there are 3 Aussies to 1 Kiwi, but that's all right. Do you guys have anything? Did any of the crews have something I should know about the skippers? I mean, Raphael, this is your brother, dude. Talk about him.
I think everyone knows a little something about Shell, maybe me more than most, but I think we'll keep that under wraps for now. We might have some more interesting things coming out later on, but that's all right. We'll get to that then.
Well, actually, but you're going to be watched for the next 4 or 5 days, so we'll probably see him. But yeah, all right. You guys were a lot of fun on Thursday night. You must have something to say about Cole here.
Cole's holding my passport currently hostage, so I will keep quiet for the time being, but I'll pass over to Hamish.
I have known Cole for 12 years now, and there is so much I want to say about Cole. Unfortunately, I am in a similar boat, but instead of my passport, it's my position on the world's team, so I've got to be very careful. So I think we'll leave it for a couple more drinks in me, and then I'll tell you all.
Tom Eamon, we have to cover the actual racing. We have a roving boat. Can we get a roving cameraman and microphone and just follow him around tonight? All right, guys. Well, welcome. Welcome back, both of you, and good luck. Thank you, sir. Good work, guys. You saved me. Well, as long as we're on a roll with Aussies, let's go with Josh Hyde and Max Paul. One of them is actually a Kiwi. Josh is the only New Zealand sailor this year, which is very unusual, but we'll talk about him in a minute. So Josh on the right, I believe, Tom Eamon? Yep. Yep, this side sent there. There we go. Good job, guys. So if you know anything about New Zealand, the famous New Zealand rugby team are the All Blacks. So there you go. Introduce your crew. Josh, you go first. You're the kid here.
So with me, I've got Cody, Jack, and Zach on their respective positions. Yeah, should be.
Do they know what their positions are? Or are you just gonna wing it?
I might just wing it. Have a bit of fun.
Fine, great. Okay, thanks, Josh. Introduce your crew.
Hi guys. Hi Andy. Thanks for having me. So with me this week I have Campbell, who trims the sails, and Brooke, who tells me what to do.
I have an absolute fondness for technicians. So, as we say, any monkey can steer. So. Well, let's start. Let's make it hard and start with Josh. Josh, you were, I think, the second youngest skipper here, but your record is pretty awesome. You won, I believe, the New Zealand Harkin and the New Zealand Youth Match Racing Championships. And last year we had this old guy from New Zealand, Jordan Stevenson, win. How are you going to pull it off in your first year here?
That is a great question.
Of course it is.
Not sure. I guess we're going to get out there.
Well, I'd start with telling your crew what their positions are, but no, it's up to you. I'm not trying to tell you how to sail this thing.
Yeah, looking out there, hopefully just trying to enjoy the event most of all. And then I guess if we can have a good result come with that, learn as much as we can about the course and hopefully learn enough to next year if we're back again, have a good crack at it.
All right. I wouldn't, this is going to be an interesting year. I mean, don't take these guys for granted. We asked this, a lot of the first timers here are also 22, so this is their one and only year. They can say pretty much whatever they want. But let's see if you're good enough to figure the question this out. You still have 2 or 3 years potentially left. How do you like the boats?
The boats we've found are actually really good.
Excellent, good job. Okay, you have a chance to be back. So Josh, there are a number of Governor's Cup veterans or alumni that have gone on to the Olympic Games. Josh, you're attempting both to be here and do this and to get to the Olympics, I believe, in 49ers. Tell us about that. I'm sorry, Max. God, what am I doing? Max.
First you got your nationalities mixed up. Now you've got your
I'm
names
old.
mixed up.
I'm old. Okay, one for Max. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I sail the 49er as well, most of the time actually. I sail with Tom Burton, who's won Olympic gold medal, so hopefully he can tack on some shifts and win me one too. No, it's not that easy, but...
what's the schedule now from now on?
After this, I go straight to The Hague for the World Sailing Worlds, and that's our first chance to qualify Australia for the Olympics in the 49er, so...
And then once pardon my ignorance, but then once Australia's qualified, there is only a certain number of boats are allowed in each event, right? So the countries actually have to qualify. Once that happens, if you are the team that qualifies, do you get the berth for Australia?
Yeah, well, not really. It's sort of like we have our own selection series sort of thing across the major regattas, and
Right.
there's a few good Australian teams, as there always are, so we've got a bit of an internal fight, but I think first we have to just make sure we get a spot,
Right.
because only a few.
No, fair enough, and I think that's generally the case. I think most countries have, like there are 4 or 5 regattas that they just look at them and
Yeah.
see how everybody did.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys know about? I want to hear from the tactician. Tell me about working with him. Does he ever do anything you ask him to do?
I would say Max is a bit of a control freak. He likes to stand up a lot in the
Typical
boat.
helmsman.
Don't hold it against him, but I do have to remind him to sit down quite often.
Excellent. And so you're in the middle of these two who obviously are totally in sync. What, how do you feel?
I don't know about in sync.
Excellent. Okay. Excellent. So you guys are going to sail with 4 up. Some of the teams are, some are with 3. For this event, for those of you who don't know, there's a weight limit, and you can have 3 or 4. And Alan Andrews, who is here somewhere, designed, I think, his best design ever, including the boat that Tom and I and Greg and Danny have. But these boats are spectacular, and but you always, when you introduce a new boat, you always wonder how it's going to be, especially if some have 3 and some have 4. In year 1, in 2016, when we used the boats for the first time, the winner and the last place finisher both had 4, and there are a lot of 3s otherwise. What is it? Just wait. None of you guys are. You look like you could use a little more of a buffet again. But are you used to sailing? Because the Elliots, you sail with 4, right? Or 5?
Our team, we sail with 5.
With 5, yeah. So you're used to a bigger crew. Did you find the boats have enough room to move around? I mean, I think they do. I mean, you really can easily sail them with 4. Do you think there's an advantage, and I'm going to ask you, Max, the same question. Do you think there's an advantage to having another pair of hands in some maneuvers?
I think so, considering we're the same weight between the 2 teams. An extra set of hands doesn't hurt.
What do you think?
Well, I think my crew know what jobs they're doing, so I think I'm already one step ahead, but...
Max is too shy to say it, but between the 2 of us, we're a little bit too girthy for a 4th, so...
Excellent. Okay, guys. Well, needless to say, best of luck. And Josh, I'm sorry that the Aussies are going to, gang up on you 3-1. But I've seen New Zealand come back from a lot worse odds than that. So, and Max. Oh, I should say also, we had Cole up here, and I originally thought we were going to put you and Cole on the same stage, but Josh is representing the Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron, which is think Newport Harbor Yacht Club, and Cole is from the Cruising Yacht Club Australia, think Balboa Yacht Club. But it's great to see somebody from the squadron back. We just lost one of the amazing men in the sport and in the squadron, Jim Hardy, who was a great friend, and I sail with him, and I miss him already. He just was something else, and he loved the squadron. He started his own youth match racing series, the Hardy Cup, which is one of the top series down there. So it's awesome to have a squadron team again. Thank you, guys. Okay, Alexander Colquitt and Tom Higgins.
Thank you.
Alexander likes it up here. You after my job?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, he's good. Yeah. Okay, why don't you start with you? Why don't you introduce your crew?
Yeah, hi, and thanks for having me, Andy. So these 2 guys that I've sailed with and against for quite a long time now. So on the main and kite trim, we've got Rhys Lewis, and on the bow and the jib trim, we've got Jamie Harris.
All right. Tom?
Hey, Andy, thanks for having us. To my left here, Peter Fagan. He is going to be on trim and trim this week. And then up the front of the boat, we'll have Ben Lumley. He'll be doing
All right. Well, we should start by talking about the fact that Ireland and England are certainly not rivals. But, you know, the UK has not had, shall we say, a couple banner years, you know, between Brexit, having tenures of prime ministers measured in days, you know, inflation, all that stuff. But then to make it worse, I believe, Tom, you and your Royal St. George Yacht Club team won the Brit University's team race series for the first time in 50 years against the Brits.
Yeah, so actually it was the college, University College Dublin. Yeah, we went over to the UK finals, which were on up in Cambridge. And yeah, for the first time in 50 years, an Irish team won. So we were pretty happy to take that home.
Well, just keep pumping up the country like that and you guys can invade England. You know, other people have done that. I'm going to do something really sort of bad here, but I don't know if you all have been to Ireland, but the people are wonderful. And I used to sail with a guy that's, you know, way too old for you, but pretty famous sailor, Harold Cudmore from Cork. And Harold, we called him Crazy Harry. First match race we sailed against was in the British Championships, and he had never really match raced. And so I told him, you know, we got him around the start and we pounded the other guy. And when I went to the starting line, he fired me like 3 times before the start. He's very excitable, you know. But he was funny as hell. And so I just assumed that all Irishmen are funny. So why don't one of you tell us an Irish joke?
I'm not sure about Irish joke, but I have a fair few stories on Tom.
Perfect, that'll do. Are you implying he's an Irish joke?
Sometimes. So I'm actually back home. Our second home in Newport, in Rhode Island. I'm Tom's boss. So this week he's the boss of me. So, but no, back home we work together and sail together. We've sailed together for many years. So yeah, we have plenty of stories. But probably won't say any now. But yeah.
Well, you can
we're
follow.
good friends.
You can follow Cole's team around, and I'll get the stories in. So tell us about. You mentioned that the other night that you guys are working in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
We're both the Optimus coaches, and Ben is also the keelboat coach. So we've been working and training there for the summer under Sail Newport.
Great.
And Brad Reed runs Sail Newport. So yeah, it's a pretty good operation.
Sail Newport's an exceptional operation. It's a public sailing center, basically, and have done some incredible work back east. Well, as you know, I think I told you we're going to be back there next week to sail 12 meters and see if I can lose the rest of my fingertips.
We'll be back as well, so we'll watch you in the
But
race
yeah,
course.
well, yeah, come down and we'll have a 7-Up after the racing because it's serious stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So just to show you that, you know, most of these sailors, a lot of them at times want to be professional sailors and stuff. Well, Alexander is a little different. He wants to be a doctor, right?
That's right, yeah.
There you go. Well, our principal, one of our 2 principal sponsors, Dr. Rob Bray, is here. And Rob is responsible for the fact that I can still stand up straight. And Tyler Woke, who you'll meet, is on our bosun's group, is coming back, bringing a boat back from Transpac. Same with him. Jimmy Spithill, same with him. He operates on the stars.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah.
What?
We'll take him in the OR.
Yeah, there you go. So you have a job when you get fully qualified. Anyway, that's great. You're going to University of Southampton, or just graduated?
No, so I'm still going now. I've got 2 more years, but these 2 guys also go to Southampton, and Jamie, in fact, just graduated on Friday.
All right, well, congratulations. Well, we have another friend from the UK who went to University of Southampton, who I think you know. Matt Whitfield is one of our commentators on Friday and Saturday. Matt's here somewhere. So Southampton must be producing quite a good group of sailors, just unfortunately not quite as good as these guys. But what the hell? What the hell? Thank you very much. Welcome. It's always great to have a UK team. So I hope you enjoy yourself here. And the first ever Irish team. Okay, Nicholas Bernal and Timotei Rossi.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I had never heard French spoken with a Texas accent before. Frankly, it's a little weird. Gentlemen, introduce your crews. Go ahead.
So first, thanks everyone for this beautiful evening. We talk a lot with nice people, so thank you. We have our fan club here, so thank you. And for this event, our team is made up of Tom, our main sail, Thibaut, our trimmer, and finally Theo, our bowman. So beautiful team.
Right. Nicholas, go.
Hello. First of all, I want to thank all the staffs and the club, Balboa Yacht Club, for do this event. And for us, it's really important this support because in Brazil we don't have much opportunities to go to some championships. So it's really nice. Thanks so much. So this is my crew. Marcos is the bow, Gabriel is the man.
All right. You know what? We've actually had a Brazilian, I think one of the Grails, I forget who, but has been here before. So we've had a Brazilian team. And we've had French teams. But what I mostly like is they all say, oh, well, our English isn't very good. We can't possibly do that. Well, my French truly sucks. And as for Portuguese, me hablo un poquito de español, pero no portugués.
Hablas muy bien.
What?
Hablas muy bien.
Oh, gracias. As I've always said, I can order a beer or a glass of wine in about 10 different languages. Well, so let's start over here. Now you're from Antibes. Are you part of we had last year Timothée Paulet, and his coach was Mathieu Richard, who is, won the Congressional Cup and a superb guy and has done amazing things. Are you guys part of that program? Because that mostly is in the northwest, I think.
Yes, we started match racing last year with a creation of new structure in the south of France. We have two coaches in particular, Xavier Roa, 5 times Olympian, so beautiful coach. And we have also match for the French training that I don't need to introduce.
Yep, great. Well, I called Mathieu if you know, Dave Perry is a 5-time U.S. champion and an incredible teacher and coach. And I call Mathieu the Dave Perry of France because he has concentrated on youth match racing, and it's wonderful, and it's showing results. I mean, Timothée did a good job last year. You, I believe, won the European championships, and your record already in that short a time in match racing is great. And I've said this many times, and the same, with you, Nicolas, that the more you match race, probably in any other discipline in the sport, every match race, how good you are depends on how many you've done. So if you do your first match race series, great. In the second one, you're probably twice as good. In the third one, almost 3 times as good. Then the curve levels off like it has for Morgan Pinkney. But but it really is true. The other nice thing about this is this series, I haven't actually talked to our weather gurus, but I assume we'll have some reasonable breeze. We do a double round robin, unlike a lot of the series do the quarterfinals thing, which I don't like. So we try to keep everybody sailing. So everybody will be sailing all 5 days of this regatta. But the double round robin gives you a chance to, so you blow the first race or the third race or something like that. Jordan Stevenson won last year with 5 losses in the round robin. And Nick EJ, when he won in 2019, I think had 7. So it's it's quite possible, and that's what the 2 round robins is for, to get used to the boats, and you'll get better all the time, which is great. Nicholas, so you're from Sao Paulo.
Yes.
And you started on a reservoir, a big lake there, I believe. That's where you learned to sail?
Yes. Yeah, we sail all the time in Yacht Club Santa Amaro, and Robert is the same club that
Right,
Robert
that
Scheid started. So
you're sailing for, yeah.
Yeah, it's
But then since then, you've sailed at 20. Nicholas was the representative. He was on the Brazilian team for the Pan American Games, which is a big deal, and that's great. You have sailed. You're also the Lightning Youth World Champion, among other things. They're a little bigger boats, but I believe you also represented Brazil in the Youth Match Racing Worlds last year.
yeah, we.
But we don't really need to talk about that. If you don't want to,
Okay. So last year was another good opportunity for us, and we just did our team like in the last minute. Yeah, last minute. So
Yep.
we couldn't train a lot. So, but I think we get better all the time with the match that you talked about the 2 round robins, and I think this is too much important for us because in Brazil we don't have much match racing championships. Like the match racing was stopped like 10 years, so it was really difficult for us. But
It really, we've talked to so many of the sailors in this thing that, sail lasers, and everybody here is a good dinghy sailor, and have records to prove that. But some of them, like I did, get into match racing, and it becomes, to me, it's by far the most fun part of yacht racing. And I think you guys are getting there. Now, I believe, though, in the Worlds, you didn't win a lot of races in the round robin, but I believe one you did was against Jeffrey Peterson. Is that right? So this is a sleeper here, let me tell you. Now, back to the Worlds, Timothy, I believe you sailed also.
Yes, it was a beautiful championship. We lost against Jeffrey last year in semi-final, but this year we can win.
Yep, Timothy got third in the Worlds last year. He did say we didn't get a chance to do the Road to the GovCups thing, but in talking with Eamon and Timothy, somehow it came up that if Jeffrey wins, he'll be the 13th person to get 2 of them. And Timothy said, I will do my best to prevent that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good job. Great job.
Thank you.
Great job. That was perfect. Well, now we have the Can-Am series here. Justin Callahan from the United States and Alec Coleman from Canada.
Well, it's not my best.
Yeah, well, it was tough to get good pictures of you guys for various reasons. Introduce your crews, gentlemen. Why don't you go first, Justin?
I'm Justin. Thank you for having me here. This is Liam, trimming main and doing kite. This is my twin brother Mitchell up on the bow. And then we have Danny in the pit. So we grew up sailing together in Miami since we were probably 10. So it's
Right.
we don't sail much keel boats though. So we'll see what happens.
Well, Justin and Mitchell, with twins, I guess somebody always gets the short straw, right?
It's okay. I'm driving the boat, so he better be careful up on the bow.
Justin had actually told me that. He says, thank God he's bigger because somebody has to pull on those lines. So, Alec, crew.
Yeah. Do I get a microphone?
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Smart ass.
So, first of all, my main trimmer and person who tells me where to go all the time and gets grumpy with me, this is Richard. We have on bow Will and our trimmer extraordinaire, Jack.
All right. For you guys that are tacticians, you know our tacticians union motto is often wrong but never in doubt.
Yes.
So yeah, perfect. You got it. You got it. Well, let's start with Justin. Justin and Morgan have a bit of history. Last year in the Rose Cup, we broadcast that. GovCup TV did it. It was in Long Beach. And the final between those two was a first to three, so it took all 5 races. And I think all of us felt that that was one of the best match races I've ever been in or watched. It was just incredible with one great thing with you guys sailing off into the sunset from the weather mark, which is, with the rules, it's quite permissible. It just took you out of camera view. But they went so far, I think they stopped at LA Yacht Club for a bite. But at any rate, and then I understand that this year both Morgan and Justin qualified through the Rose Cup again, which I did not name after myself. And Morgan tells me this was an even more exciting final. Tell me about it.
Yeah, the final was great. Or I guess, well, we had a semifinal.
Oh, semifinal, sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because who beat, what school did the guy that won go to?
I forgot, sorry. You know,
Yeah.
it's definitely not Stanford, but.
It was Stanford.
So, yeah, we had
Harvard
a
of
good
the East.
We had a good final. Unfortunately, we didn't pull it off again, but at least this time we managed to unhook ourselves at the windward mark, and we did not end up all the way down in Chicago. So yeah, we had a good final, but we're looking forward to going against all these great competitors, and we're super happy to be here.
Well, that was clearly the toughest fleet ever in the Rose Cup. So I think you guys getting second and third was terrific, and it was close. And I understand that that Chapman Peterson actually said some nice things about Morgan, which is pretty amazing in itself. But that Morgan had helped him a lot. And one of the things that I know, that Nicholas knows in the Lightning class, the Star class, the Snipe class, the great one design classes in the world, the people are amazing when you're young and stuff. Or in this case, Chapman hadn't done a lot of match racing, and he said that Morgan helped him. Morgan answered all his questions, helped him with stuff, and maybe a bit too much. But anyway, Morgan, that's the kind of sportsmanship that is crucial to this sport. So you and Morgan have another little thing before I get back to the Canadians here. That you go to Harvard and he's going to start at Yale, so I guess you'll be seeing a bit of him.
Yeah, we'll see. He's got to beat out a few good people to get on the start line with me first, so we'll see.
All right. Well, and then...
But I'm sure he can do it. He's very talented. So.
He is very talented, indeed. All right. Well, it's great to have that kind of rivalry here, even if it's just Harvard and Yale, but, that's good. So this actually, and this surprises me, and our records may not be perfect, but this is the first Canadian team.
They're not perfect.
They're not perfect? We've had another one?
Yeah, I got to shout out my boy, Richie Manelli from Vancouver. He was down here in 2014, I believe.
Okay, well, the program lies then.
Yeah.
But that was 9 years ago. So first, let's see, you're the intercollegiate, like a lot of these guys, you're the intercollegiate match racing champion in Canada. What, I think you told me in the Road to the GovCup thing that it's increasing interest in some of the intercollegiate coaches. There's more of it. Is that true? I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. Match racing hasn't been huge in Canada, but it's starting to take off at the collegiate scale, which is really exciting. And we had our second or third in a row match racing championship, and this one was in Vancouver. And in typical Canadian style, it started snowing. We had to break the ice to get out of the harbor. I wish I was kidding, but I am not. And then one of the days actually had to be cut short because there was multiple inches of snow on the decks of the J22s. So we called her a day.
So, as we said, Nicholas's English is actually quite good, but he has no idea what you just said. Snow? What? God, that's, well, good for you. I mean, that's great. Do you throw snowballs if it's an intense start or something?
I did get snowballs thrown at me at the award ceremony, yes.
Note to self, don't have an event in Canada. We'll be greatly at a disadvantage.
No, you can just have it just in the summer.
Just in the summer,
yes,
there you go.
Summer.
Well, Vancouver, you're from the West Vancouver Yacht Club, but Vancouver is a beautiful city. If you haven't been, you should go. It's terrific. But the Royal Van is, Eamon's much more an elitist. And so he thinks the Royal Van is the only real club because he's sort of a royalist at heart. Tell us a little bit about West Van. There's a lot of activity from what I could see from the websites.
Yeah, I definitely disagree with the Royal Van statement, but
didn't
each
make
to
it.
their own.
I'm just passing it along. I didn't make it.
West Van is definitely growing on the circuit. We have the biggest dinghy team in the province, and have been doing well at the youth level, the collegiate level. So it's definitely one to look out for, and I think one of the most beautiful places to sail in the world.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. It'd be good. We started the Rose Cup here before it was a national championship because we noticed that the international teams were doing better in the Governor's Cup. Really dominating the leaderboards, and we wanted to give more opportunities for U.S. young sailors to match race, and it seems to have worked pretty well. But you guys should think about that, putting together just a series. Like it doesn't have to be, we did 4 years before it was a national championship in U.S. sailing, anointed it, officially. But, people were interested. And as I said, there are a lot of dinghy sailors who just don't have the chance to do anything. And suddenly they get on a 3-person boat and start match racing and they love it. So anyway, well, that's great. It's great to have Canadians back. And I'm sorry I blew that, but it was a better, these days it's, we're not a fact-based society anymore. So, what the hell? Anyway, thank you guys. Well, and last and least, Jeffrey Peterson and Morgan Pinckney. Hello, Morgan.
I think you're supposed to say certainly not the most least.
Well, I'm very confused. Introduce your crews. Go ahead.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Jeffrey Peterson. This is my team here. We got Max Brennan trimming the main and kite, otherwise known as Breno, thanks to Cole and team over there. And then on the bow for the first match racing regatta of his career. But doesn't mean he's going to, this is not a question of experience. It's a question of ability, and this kid's got it. Enzo Mendito, otherwise known as Mendisco.
Mendisco. I'm old enough to remember what disco is. Go ahead, Morgan.
All right, so we got Max Mail here on main, previous world champion, so he knows what's up. And then Mark Murray, he's from Australia, so a little bit of a traitor, but we'll take it. And then Alex McCoy is our fourth, so.
All right. Well, they represent the Balboa Yacht Club and the Newport Harbor Yacht Club, respectively, which, as I said, is sort of like the Royal Sydney and the CYCA. Yeah, they're sort of they're the elite. They think they are. Anyway.
Elite of dominoes.
Oh, hang on just a second. I just got buzzed. Oh, I'm sorry. The fire marshal has said that we have too many egos on stage. This is it. Well, we have, it's sort of interesting here. I cannot believe ever being a trader and sailing for another country, or maybe it's just that I can't remember. But there's a lot of that happening in different teams here. Max, you're over here, and Max, you're usually with some Aussies, and I don't, Max in particular, at least you stuck with the same country. Max, it reminded me of Winston Churchill. If you know his history, he was a Tory or a conservative, and then he went to the Liberal Party, and then a few years later he came back. And as he said, anyone can rat, but it takes a certain amount of ingenuity to re-rat. Well, Max, you've re-ratted.
Well, I think you're missing at least one rat there, because I also work over at Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron, which Jordan obviously wasn't too happy about. So. Oh
no, I just meant Australia versus the United States. Remember, this is your country. Remember this one?
Yeah. Well, Andy, growing up here, we all have our sailing idols, and obviously you've been one of mine for as long as I can remember. So I just didn't think my career would be complete if I didn't follow in your footsteps and sort of get down to Australia for a little bit.
One for Max. One for Max. So, give me that bag right next to me there.
What'd you do this time?
No, I don't know. Let's see what's in the bag. Sorry. Okay, so no, it's not Max. Let me just start by talking about the America's Cup, because back in the day, it used to be that this was part of a group of regattas, and it was sort of a pathway. The Governor's Cup, then to the Congressional Cup, and then to the America's Cup. And I'm not the only one that was able to make that path. Now, as you know, these boats are a little different, and there are more. I believe there are now more bicyclists on the sailboats than there are sailors. So I thought that this was an idea. It's been announced that the next America's Cup, if New Zealand wins, will be in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. You know, they're having a pre-event in Jeddah. But is that on the slide there, Tom Eamon? That slide. Here, we don't need to bother with that water stuff. So this is the next America's Cup thing, and you probably can't see it very well, but there's 3 bicyclists and 1 sailor who sits in the back and trims the sails. You know, why not? It's become that. So anyway, I won't give you my full rant on the America's Cup. But in keeping with that, with the theme of that, you know, one of probably the most famous bicycle race in the world is the Tour de France. And so I thought, well, we need to start the tradition here at the Governor's Cup that the leader each day has to wear a yellow jersey. Well, since this is pre-race, you know, there's only one guy that really should be wearing this. And you probably can't see it really well. I'll read it to you. This is the front. And it says Governor's Cup winner, World Champion, Rose Cup winner, yada, yada, yada. And this is the back. Perfect. Perfect. Morgan, you know, you actually had a practice regatta, the Dixon series, which went pretty well.
Yeah.
So that was good. You beat some pretty good people.
Yeah.
So you totally ready?
Totally.
Are you as dumb as you look?
No.
Morgan sailed Ensenadas with us this year on the It's Okay. And, you know, are your parents here?
They're probably watching. Yes.
Okay, well, then we won't go on with that. So, Jeffrey, you know, I think, seriously had the same problem that I did with all these new people. I don't have any stories on them and stuff. And I know you like to, you know, look at tape and race against people and get tendencies and all that. How's it going to be sailing against a number of people that you've never sailed against?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely, you know, we've done 2 Governor's Cups now, and we've kind of, you know, we've been lucky. We've come in and we've kind of known some of the sailors that we're racing against. And, you know, as a competitor, I like to know who I'm racing against. But obviously there's a large portion of the fleet this year that hasn't sailed a Governor's Cup before. And a couple of those, you know, outside of that, I've never raced against before,
Yeah.
You know, whether it was COVID or something like that. So, you know, it's interesting. I'm really excited that there's one that we have a record 8 countries. I think that's a huge milestone for the regatta. And I personally love being able to, you know, see so many countries and new teams come in. And, well, you know, to be honest with you, it's kind of a little scary now to think I've only done 2 Governor's Cups. And, you know, we used to look at the Harry Prices and the Nick Agnott Johnsons of the world as, you know, the level we want to be at. And now we're here and I've got a target literally on my back.
Yep. Indeed, I know we've talked a lot over the years that you really would prefer to be the underdog. You're basically, well, sorry about that.
That's okay. I can just keep telling myself I'm the underdog.
There you go. All right. Well, and I know it's good to have you and Max have won a heck of a lot of races together, and I'm sure it's great to have him back. That's super.
Yeah, we've missed Max a lot, and you know we lent him to the Aussies for a little bit, but we're really glad to have him back on the boat. And you know, to their credit, Max has come back and he's a little different than the last time we sailed with him, but in a good way. Max is we're really feeling well in the boat, and
Great.
Enzo, we've been practicing really hard, pretty much every day for the last 2 weeks to get ready, and we're just really looking forward to getting out on the water and just having some
All
fun.
right. Well, Enzo has sailed with us on It's Okay in a couple of beer cans now and has done a terrific job. So passing beers and stuff. So how is it sailing with different of these guys who are all your friends, Max?
It's good. It's definitely interesting. We had a training day the other day, and there were some chirps flying. So it'll be interesting in the dial-up. Make sure you turn up the microphone.
We do have this year some audio on some of the boats, so we'll try to catch some interesting things. So speaking of ratting, I believe you're just doing your first rat.
Yeah, definitely ratting on more levels than mine as a born Scotsman and a living Australian. Sailing for America, it's...
A citizen of the world.
Yeah.
I actually have a Irish joke, which Scotland comes into it. The Irish invented the bagpipes and gave them to Scotland, and they took it seriously.
He just played them a bit better.
Yeah. All right. Well, great, guys. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Andrew?
Yes.
I don't think we're done yet.
Yeah, I heard.
Let
me say something about this. Okay, so Thursday night, some of the Aussies were here with this dude and a few others, and I heard them plotting against me. Well, I can announce now that Special Counsel Jack Smith is investigating that conspiracy, which includes my producer, Tom Eamon. And we'll have the results of that special counsel investigation, but it's not going to be good for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, as you've heard, we've been plotting. Really good friends with Marcello Torre. And I spent about a month down in Australia this year training with them and racing. And I was asking about Govs, and he was like, I don't know if I want to come back. I'm like, why is that? It's a phenomenal event. It's the best there is. And he's like, well, Andrew last year on the roast night, he gave me a haircut. I don't know if I'm going to be able to come back after that. So we decided he would come back if we gave Andrew a haircut this year. So I'd like to have Marcello's team and his coach, Will Bolden, come up to assist me with that process. I think here's a seat for you, Mr. Rose. We're calling this segment, they had the Coach's Corner. It's a little mix-up with the Coach's Corner. And we're going to call this one Mullet Monday.
G'day.
This is for those of you who go to the theater. Don't do a Sweeney Todd on me here.
So, for those of you that don't know, last year, Marcello here had to bear the brunt of Rose, our good friend Rose, our good friend Rose, cutting some of his precious locks, which, as you can see, are very sacred to this man right here. They're very long. It's taken him a whole year to get it back to this length, but. Andy very fondly talks about his time in Australia and his time with Keelower and his time with the America's Cup team down under. So last Thursday we were listening to that, and myself and Morgan and a couple of other guys came up with an idea to have Mad Mullet Monday, which is a bit of an Australian cultural exchange. So have we got the photo, Tom? Is the photo up of Raph that we had before? So. Our friend Raph here had the maddest Monday mullet we've ever seen last year, and we thought we'd return the favour. So, Marcello, without further ado, if you'd just like to give our friend Rose here a bit of a trim back. We're told it'll add at least 5% of boat speed to It's Okay next Thursday.
I would trade Raphael's hair, and I'd get a mullet if I had hair like that.
So we had planned to cut it off, but Andy's just informed us he's a little bit worried it won't grow back if we do. So we'll have to leave it at that. But Andy, for being a good sport, Raph, if you'd like to present Andy, his favourite beer from Perth back in his cup days was Swan Draft. It's a special fly-in order for Mr. Rose here from Down Under, so thank you for having us.
Thanks, Andy. Cheers.
Honor. We'll give that back to you.
All right.
He was very worried.
Yeah, I should actually. No, I won't ask Will to. He's been here for about 5 or 6 days, and I won't ask him to relate everything that has happened during that time. But I'm holding that against you. This beer is the best beer, I think, arguably in the world. When I was down there practicing on the 12s in Fremantle, or in actually Yanship Sun City, as Alan Bond called it. The boys called it Rat Shit Fly City. But the last night before I was to come home, they said, well, you want to go to Swan Brewery and have a tour? And I said, sure, that'd be fun. And so we walk in, and the managing director and a couple of secretaries and a couple of executives are there, and they said, you don't really want to go see how it's made, do you? And I said, no. He says, great. So we had a session, and it was, that's an Australian thing, and it was way fun. But I had to leave the next morning, and I said, God, that beer is so good, I wish I could take some home. The next morning at 7 a.m. on the doorstep of where I was staying, there was a case of Swan Lager. And I went through customs in L.A., and happily had a great customs guy. I said, I'm sorry, but it's just, I'm in law school, and I was just in Australia. And he said, it's all for personal consumption. I said, oh, yeah. So thank you. This means a lot. Well, that pretty much concludes our program. Thank you guys. Thank you guys, and thank you all, Marcello and Will and everybody. That was pretty humorous, but if you had touched one hair of these wonderful locks, I would have, you know what, I had some heart issues. A bacteria ate my aortic valve, and so a month later, I went to the checkup with my doctor, and he said, well, your hair will fall out. And I said, what, more? You gotta be kidding. Anyway, thank you very much, guys, and thank you all. It's gonna be a great week.